There's a specific kind of horror comedy that's almost impossible to pull off, because if the comedy is too loud, the horror stops working. And if the horror is too mean, the comedy curls into something uncomfortable. You get Shaun of the Dead when it works, and well, you get Stan Helsing when it doesn't. Hey guys, I'm Geoff, and this is my dog Casper. He has never killed a college student despite the rumors. Today we're talking about Tucker and Dale vs. Evil from 2010. Now this one's a little special for me because I first saw Tucker and Dale vs. Evil at South by Southwest, where it won the Audience Award. That next year, my short film Neil screened there, which says two things. One, that audience was in a very good mood. And two, this movie absolutely murdered the room. People weren't just laughing, they were howling. On paper, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil sounds like a joke you've already heard. A group of college kids go camping in the woods. They run into a pair of creepy-looking hillbillies. People start dying. But the genius twist, the hillbillies are the good guys. Tucker and Dale aren't killers. They're just socially awkward, blue-collar dudes who bought a rundown cabin to fix up and relax. And the college kids? They are so conditioned by horror movies that they interpret everything Tucker and Dale do as evidence of a massacre in progress. It's not a slasher movie. It's a movie about miscommunication, assumptions, and what happens when genre logic replaces basic human interaction. What makes this movie special isn't just that it flips the formula, it's that it never winks at the camera. Tucker and Dale don't know they're in a horror movie. They think the college kids are, as Tucker puts it, killing themselves all over the woods. And that ongoing misunderstanding becomes the engine of the film. Every death is a freak accident. A chainsaw and bees, a wood chipper, moonshine mistaken for water. None of it feels like parody for parody's sake. It feels like what would actually happen if a bunch of panicked, overconfident people wandered into a situation they didn't understand. And crucially, the movie never treats Tucker and Dale as jokes. They're kind, they're decent. They're just awkward. This is where the movie sneaks up on you, because beneath all the slapstick gore, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is weirdly sincere. Dale isn't just a comic relief hillbilly. He's painfully shy. He thinks he's ugly. He assumes people will reject him before they even speak. Tucker, on the other hand, has accepted himself. And the entire vacation, this dumb cabin project, is really about helping his friend believe it deserves happiness. That's why the romance between Dale and Allison works. In any other movie, it wouldn't. But here, it's gentle, earnest, awkward in the best way. Then there's the college group, and I love this choice. They aren't evil. They're just arrogant, sheltered, and convinced that they're the protagonist. Chad in particular is fascinating. He's the guy who thinks he's the final boy. He believes violence is justified because he's figured out the truth. And every time someone questions him, he doubles down. He's not brave, he's performing bravery, which, let's be honest, feels depressingly relevant. At its core, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is about judging a book by its cover. The college kids see dirty clothes, accents, tools, a broken down cabin, and they fill in the blanks with horror movie logic. Tucker and Dale see kids running into the woods, people dying inexplicably, and assume something tragic but human is happening. Nobody stops to talk, nobody slows down, fear fills in every gap. And fear, paired with certainty, becomes deadly. A huge reason the movie works is how grounded it is. Director Eli Craig leaned heavily into practical effects. Very little CGI, real stunts, real timing. That wood chipper scene works because it's not flashy. It's quick, messy, and horrifying in exactly the wrong way. The movie also resists escalation. It never tries to top itself with bigger and bigger set pieces. It trusts the joke. It trusts the misunderstanding. That restraint is rare. Watching this at South by Southwest was kind of perfect, because Tucker and Dale vs. Evil feels like an indie film that accidentally became a classic. It wasn't designed to be clever. It wasn't chasing trends. It was made people who loved horror and loved people just enough to turn the genre inside out. This is a movie that plays best with a crowd or a group of friends. What I appreciate most is that the movie sticks to the landing. It doesn't become cynical, it doesn't punish kindness, and it lets characters grow. Dale finds confidence, Tucker gets his friend back, Allison sees the world more clearly, even the villain survives, and that's kind of the point. Sometimes the real horror isn't violence, it's misunderstanding. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just listen. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is one of those rare horror comedies that actually understands both half of its DNA. It's funny, it's gory, it's weirdly sweet, and it has something to say without shouting it. If you've never seen it, go check it out. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, you can find my horror short film Neil here on the channel, which also screened at South by Southwest. If you want more Casper at the movies, hit that subscribe button and comment. We'll be back soon with another film that proves one bad weekend can ruin everything. You're a good boy. You would survive this movie.